Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series Dedication on Paramount Plus that is trying to trademark the term Bloozers, or another name that I would prefer is the Blunderdogs. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 42 Cutthroat Episode 3. Only one episode this week, and this episode is not tolerating any nonsense, as it starts off with everybody meeting up with TJ for this week's daily challenge, which caught me off by surprise. I'm so used to the episodes starting at the challenge house. We're getting a lay of the land. They're spreading some seeds of what we could possibly see later on in the episode, but no, not this time around. Like I said, this episode starts off with everybody meeting up with TJ for this week's daily challenge called Boat Swap. Each team has their own dock with 6 boats each, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. The teams are going to have to navigate through their dock to swap the boats' places. The first team that can properly swap their boats will win into power and win into safety. In the confessionals, the players were describing this daily challenge as a human slide puzzle. When I initially saw this daily challenge, I was like, oh, this is one of those budget-friendly daily challenges, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but as someone being so familiar with the trailer and knowing that there's other bigger daily challenges yet to come, seeing this smaller, more contained daily challenge, I was like, oh, this is one of those ones that they kind of had to do on a very little budget. I don't say that to say it was terrible, but it wasn't the most thrilling daily challenge to watch. The gray and orange team had a pretty big advantage over the blue team. With gray and orange still having all 8 players, they had 6 players in the boats with 2 players out on the dock, able to move and compose and tell players where to go and get a better lay of the land of how to construct this puzzle, whereas on the blue side, Annalie was trying to be the one voice in directing everybody, but she was also in a boat. So she's trying to move as well as get to see everything that was going on in the puzzle, telling everybody how to move while also trying to solve this puzzle and get herself in a position as well. Was just too much to handle, and blue team found themselves in last place. This was close between orange and gray, where they had only one person left, and it was a boat race, but Michelle was able to get to her spot, lock in the win for the orange team, where Sydney was just a few seconds behind, and gray got second place. With orange getting the win, I was like, okay, Bananas is gonna be fully in charge. I had a feeling that it was going to be rookie versus rookie with Keanu from gray and Josh from blue, or so I thought. Because back at the challenge house, we hear that Bananas and Josh have been like friends for 4 years. They work out together, they party together. So now I'm thinking, who could Bananas want to send in from the blue team? Speaking of not knowing who to vote in, we get a little bit of conversation between Corey and Nurys of what they should do as captains. Apparently, they were thinking about voting in Leo, leaving their team to vote in Keanu, but that would just be too easy, and nobody is going to show their cards. So Nurys and Corey decide we're going to say Keanu, and then we're going to see how the gray team votes. And Nurys even brings up in her confessional, maybe there's going to be another stalemate, and I'm like, please, let there not be another stalemate. And truly, that was the bulk of the strategy talk in this episode, because later on, we'll see Bananas bouncing around from Corey and Brad, Josh talking with Chris, and then Keanu trying to get Cassidy to vote Chris into the elimination, which, let's be real, was never going to happen. And you know, with a new team in power, I thought there was going to be more conversations, more deals to be made, but it also makes sense that in this format, there's so little options for everybody to go for that there's really no strategy to be had. Most of everybody coming into this season already has like their friendships, their alliances. I wish there was more strategy to be had, but when you only have 2 people from one team to choose from and then possibly 2 other people on a different team to choose from, how many conversations can you have or would show on the edit and make it be thrilling or enticing to listen to? Well, with no strategy talk, we have a Pisces pool party for Tori's birthday. Tori wants to be dressed up in the essence of being a mermaid, and everybody is having a good time. CT is being an announcer talking into a hot dog. We get like a WWE style wrestling match between Letty and Cara Maria as they're dressed up as Oliver's clothes off and Carlos. Everybody seems to be having a good time, you know? That is until Adrienne gets up from her seat to get a refreshment or go to the powder room, and right when she gets up, Nurys sits down next to Josh and they start having a conversation, and Adrienne isn't having any of it. She is flabbergasted that she wasn't up for more than 60 seconds. When Nurys sat in her seat, Josh didn't move his arm from the back of the seat, and she feels Josh is playing games and that he is trying to two-time her by going after Nurys, and it turns into a big headache for not only Josh, but as well as Nurys, who hears about it the next morning and wants to confront Adrienne, being like, I don't like Josh. I've met him once. He is too short for me. He is all yours. Do not drag me into your drama or whatever you think you saw, because I'm not with it. And you know, on the surface, this whole situation seems kind of ridiculous, you know? And look, having watched so much reality TV and having lived through Scandival, this was like tame on top of tame, with Nurys sitting next to Josh and Josh not moving his arm. But I can see it from Adrienne's perspective that she is not from a lot of reality TV background, you know? Her original show is Married at First Sight. She didn't have a showmance in her first challenge season. Then she's coming into her second season, starting to talk with Josh, starting to like him. He, though, comes from Love Island, where he snogs everybody. We also get the information from Letty, which, take this with a grain of salt because she is a rookie and she's probably hearing it from other sources that may or may not know everything that's going on, but she heard that Josh had a crush on Nurys, but she didn't reciprocate it. So that information could have been leaked out to Adrienne. So if it was anybody else who sat next to Josh, maybe it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Like if Letty or Cara Maria sat next to Josh, maybe Adrienne doesn't feel the same type of way, where Nurys is sitting next to Josh and she knows that Josh kinda likes Nurys. If that rumor is true, who knows? I feel like this whole situation kind of got bigger than what it should have been, but it feels like it got resolved pretty quickly, with Nurys confronting Adrienne and Josh, making her stance 100% clear, like, you have Josh, I'm walking away. Then later on, Josh and Adrienne have a conversation where Josh apologizes to how it looked, and Adrienne forgave him, and they seem to be doing 100% okay. With this tension and rift between Grey team members, they take this into the Grey Deliberation, where Corey and Nurys nominate Keanu to send into the elimination. Then they leave, and you have the Grey team now doing a stalemate. It seemed promising for Leo, as the first 3 votes were all for Chris. Cassidy and Chris voted for Leo. No surprise there. This really came down to Sydney, as I viewed her more as the swing vote, because she seems to like Chris, but she played with Leo on the previous season of the challenge, but she was so quick to say Leo's name because I think they wanted to force a tiebreaker and to make Nurys get dirt on her hands. Truly, the only 2 people who were frustrated with this was Chris and Leo. Chris was trying to be pushy for Leo to go in and be like, we should be making decisions, we shouldn't just leave this up to chance. While Leo was like, you're just afraid to get nominated because you know Bananas is gonna send you in, and now I'm getting the bad end of the stick because of your decision on sending in Bananas, and then he won against Cedric. Now I gotta be nominated to ensure that Keanu goes in. It's a 3-3 stalemate. Nurys comes back, sends in Leo. We got Leo and Keanu being nominated to go into the elimination. Speaking of which, let's just go to the arena, where Deb and Bananas' decision is to send Keanu in against Brad in this week's elimination called Winning Numbers. What this elimination entails is that TJ has a glass case of balls. He will reach down, pick out one that has a number on it. It's a number that corresponds to the climbing wall in the arena. Once he says go, the 2 guys will run, try to climb up this wall, and press the number and highlight it in their team's color. The best of 12 wins. So once somebody hits 7, it's over. I actually really like this concept. This tests reaction, strategy, physicality, as well as your climbing ability. I also like the setup, especially of the wall and the numbers with the 2 corresponding buttons. I just thought this was really fun in concept, but when it came down to the actual gameplay, it was so lopsided. When taking a look at the 2 of them, I know that Brad has been physical and has won physical competitions in his earlier years, but looking at Keanu, this man has played college football. He knows how to get leverage, he knows how to be quick on his feet, and it just seemed like he was ready to play. It was close in round 1 when the number was 9, and Brad was the first to touch the actual number plate, but he needed to hit the buttons on top. Keanu was able to hit his team's colors, getting the first point. Keanu goes up 2-0 when Brad was able to get the third round to make it 2-1, and it seemed like possibly maybe this could have been a turning point. This could have been really, really close. Could we get into the 10th round, 11th round, go all 12 rounds? Not necessarily, because after Brad got his 1 point, Keanu got so physical that he was manhandling Brad. Right when TJ said go, he would run him off the course. He was throwing Brad off this wall, and it was just such a dominant win from the rookie from Big Brother, as he was able to win this thing 7-1. Brad couldn't get a single point. After round 3, Brad was eliminated. Blue team loses another person. They're down to 5 as the orange and gray team keep all 8 of their players. Now it's time to nominate the next 2 captains, where you have Will and Izzy, Leo, Cassidy, Nelson, and Cara, as we head into next week's episodes. Now, before this episode ends, we go back to the challenge house, where we see the blue team talking about what can they do. At this point, they have lost 3 players in the last 3 eliminations. The best they have gotten was 2nd place, but that was due to Tori not knowing South Park characters. So that was kind of lucky that they didn't get last place. I mean, what can you do when you're down 3 people against 2 teams that clearly are better in teamwork, have all their players and everything? It just feels like the blue team is just an utter mess. I feel like we're just going to see this on repeat, with the blue team just going in over and over and over again, especially with how good the orange and gray team are. But I say that all to say that the blue team has a chance. I just don't know if they have a chance moving forward in daily challenges. It's going to be an uphill battle week in and week out, and I feel like most of their wins could come from eliminations more so than daily challenges. But that is it for episode 3. I thought this episode was okay, a bit mild for my taste. I thought the daily challenge was alright. It was fine for what it was trying to do. Not too over the top, not too ambitious, but not terrible. I really like the elimination setup. It was just that Keanu was just so much better than Brad in that particular elimination, and at least we got some drama happening in the house, but I thought it was a little contrived, as it wasn't like this some major scandalous drama. It was just like, you took my seat and I think you're trying to take my guy. I feel like if Nurys didn't have that confrontation with Adrienne and Josh the way she did, and if it was like a one-on-one conversation that happens, it would be a pretty big nothing burger. But overall, because of Nurys being on the season, it was better drama than it could have been. Now, even though I would rank this 3rd out of 3 episodes so far, I'm still enjoying this season. I'm still looking forward to next week to see how this show will continue to progress, how all of the drama that happened in this week's episode will be taken into next week's episode and into the future. How will this shape the game? And I'm hoping for more and more spiciness as we go through this season. But now I want to turn it over to you. What'd you think about this week's episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about the daily challenge? What'd you think about the elimination? What do you think about Bananas saving Josh and sending in Brad? Do you think that was the right decision to be made? What do you think about the whole Josh, Adrienne, Nurys drama that was happening in the house? And what do you think about Tori's Pisces pool party birthday? And what do you think about the episode overall? Let me know down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. But now I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 42 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.